and good morning everyone. In this lecture we are going to start the new topic suspension bridge with two-hinged stiffening girder. In the first lecture of this unit we studied about stiffening girder, in which I told you that whenever the stiffness of the deck of the bridge is not sufficient, we provide a truss-like structure beneath the deck of the bridge in order to increase its stiffness. This type of structure is known as stiffening girder. Now this stiffening girder, which is a truss-like structure, it can be two-hinged as well as it can be three-hinged also. So in this lecture we are going to discuss about two-hinged stiffening girder. In a two-hinged stiffening girder there are two hinges provided at two ends of the stiffening girder, one at this end and one at this end. Now, in order to analyze a two-hinged stiffening girder, we make one assumption, that is, whatever be the load acting on the girder, whether it is a point load or it is a UVL or it is a UDL, whatever be the load acting on the two-hinged stiffening girder, the ultimate load which will be transferred to the cables through the suspenders will be a UDL. Okay, so the ultimate load which will be transferred to the cable will always be a UDL, irrespective of the load acting on the deck of the bridge. So whether it is a point load or whether it is a UVL, whatever be the load acting on the two-hinged stiffening girder, the load which will be ultimately transferred to the cable will always be a UDL. So this is the assumption which we make for the analysis of the two-hinged stiffening girders. So let's see this diagram. And this is your suspension cable. These are your suspenders, and this is your deck on which is a two-hinged stiffening girder. And on this stiffening girder, two point loads W1 and W2 are acting. At the support of the cable, that is at the towers, two reactions will be produced, one vertical reaction and one outward horizontal thrust. We already know this. Now we studied about the assumption that whatever be the load acting on the girder, it is converted into equivalent UDL which acts on the cable. So suppose on this girder two point loads are acting. Now first we convert these point loads into the UDL. So equivalent UDL WE will be equal to, see, UDL we know that it is load per unit span. So if I divide the total load by the span, I will get equivalent UDL. So WE will be equal to W1 plus W2, this divided by L. In general, whatever be the load, you just have to make the summation of all the forces, and the summation of all the forces divided by the span will give you equivalent UDL. After getting the equivalent UDL, we can find out the horizontal thrust, which we know that it is equal to WL square by 8H. In this case, W will be equal to WE, and the vertical reaction will be equal to WL by 2, and W will be equal to WE. After knowing the values of H and V, we can find out the value of T max, which is equal to under root of V square plus H square. Now let us see that how do we find out the equation of the bending moment and shear force at any section in a two-hinged stiffening girder. So let's come to this diagram. So this is your suspension cable, these are your towers, and these are your suspenders. This is your two-hinged stiffening girder. These are your loads which is acting on the two-hinged stiffening girder. Now we studied that whatever is the load is transferred to the cable as a UDL. So suppose this is the UDL, equivalent UDL. These are the vertical and horizontal reactions which we already studied. Now these are the sign conventions which we are going to use to find out the values of shear force and bending moment. Sagging bending moment we will take as positive, and hogging bending moment we will take as negative. Now, this type of shear force we will take as positive, and this type of shear force we will take as negative. Now let's find out the value of shear force at any section in a two-hinged stiffening girder. If you see this stiffening girder, it is subjected to two types of loads. One is this external load W1 and W2, and another load is this equivalent load. So I can divide this stiffening girder into two parts, one subjected to the external loads and one subjected to the equivalent loads. Now, if you see first part in which the girder is only subjected to the external loads, these loads are acting in the downward direction. And if the loads are acting in the downward directions, the reaction will be in the upward direction. So suppose the support reactions are Ra and Rb. In the second part, if you see here, We equivalent UDL is acting in the upward direction. Therefore, the support reactions due to this We will act in the downward direction. Now the support reactions will be equal to WEL by 2 because we know that this UDL is acting uniformly throughout throughout the span. Therefore, the reactions will be half of the total load. So, and the total load will be WE into the total span, W into L, and half of will be WEL by 2. So, if I add the shear force in the first part and the shear force in the second part, I will get the total shear force. Suppose the shear force at this section due to the external loads is Vx. Okay. So see, we are not finding out the value because the load, because the external load can be anything. So suppose the shear force due to the external loads is Vx. Now let's come to the second part. See, if you see the second part, shear force at this section will be equal to the summation of forces either to the left of the section or to the right of the section. So I'm going to take the left part of the section. So on the left part of the section there are two forces. One is acting in the downward direction and one is acting in the upward direction. So if you look at the sign convention, if the left force is downward, shear force is negative, and if the left force is upward, shear force is positive. So downward negative, upward positive. So WEL by 2 is downward, so therefore minus WEL by 2. WE is UDL, convert this into force, so WE into length is X. So, and this is acting in the upward direction, so if the left force is upward, shear force is positive, so plus WE. Now if I add these two shear forces, I will get the total shear force at the section. After adding, I will get this equation number 1. Now we know that the equation of y is equal to 4hx upon L square into L minus x. If I differentiate this term with respect to x, I will get dy by dx, which is also equal to slope, which is tan theta. So tan theta will be equal to this equation. After differentiation, I will get this term. So let us take this equation as equation number 2. We also know that the value of the horizontal thrust is equal to WEL square by 8h. If I multiply these two equations, I will get h tan theta equal to this term. Some terms will cancel out each other, so we will be left with this term. If I multiply, if I open up the bracket and if I take minus common, I will get this term. And if you see, this term is the same term which is in equation number 1. So if I put the value of this term from equation number 4 to the equation number 1, I will get the total shear force, and the total shear force will be equal to, see, Vx plus minus of h tan theta. So the total shear force at any section in a two-hinged stiffening girder is equal to Vx minus h tan theta, where Vx is the shear force at the section due to the external loads minus h tan theta. So by this equation we can find out the value of shear force at any section. Now let us see that how we can find out the value of bending moment at any section in a two-hinged stiffening girder. See, again, if we add up the bending moment in the first part plus bending moment in the second part, I will get the total bending moment. So suppose the bending moment due to the external loads at this section is mx. Okay. See, we are not finding out the equation because the load can be anything. So suppose the bending moment at this section due to the external loads is mx. Now that external load can be anything. In the second part, if you see here, see, now let's come back to the sign convention. If the left movement is clockwise, it is positive. If the left movement is anti-clockwise, it is negative. So, see, if you see WEL by 2, this force will produce an anti-clockwise bending moment above this section. So if the moment is anti-clockwise, it is minus. So minus. Force is WEL by 2 and the perpendicular distance is x. Second force is WE. So first convert this UDL into force. So WE into x. and this force will act at the center of x, that is x by 2, so we x square by 2. And this force is acting in the upward direction, so this will produce a clockwise bending moment about this section. So for clockwise it is positive. Now if I multiply these two equations, h and y, h we know wel square by 8h, y we also know 4hx upon l square into l minus x. So if I multiply these two equations, we will get the equation of hy, which will come out to be this. If I take minus s common, I will get the same term as in equation number 5. So the bending moment at xx due to we will be equal to minus of hy. Therefore, the total bending moment will be equal to the moment in first part plus the moment in second part. The moment in first part is mx, so mx, and the moment in second part is minus hy, so mx minus hy. So by using this equation, I can find out the value of the bending moment at any section in a two-hinged stiffening girder.